Hello and welcome to the FitzQ podcast. I'm, of course, Fitzyhere, joined by KarQ. How are you doing tonight, KarQ?
I'm doing well. Just ended stream. Finally, actually won some games in ranked. Man, it's been a rough week
Always
for
feels
me,
good.
Always feels good. But
I saw you were at like right at 4K or whatever. Did you touch the Masters? Did you get Masters?
I did. I dipped my toes in it. It hurt. It hurt. It wasn't today. It was yesterday and the day before. I dipped my toes to like 3960. Got back up, but
now,
every time I just sends shivers down my spine, you know.
Was that because of end of season, or because of beginning of season, or because of what we're going to talk about tonight, hero pools?
Ooh.
What do you?
That. It was just my poor play.
Okay.
I don't make excuses.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Not your teammates and stuff, but you know. But yeah, so tonight we're going to be talking about just a brief overview. We're going to be talking about the hero pools because it's been a month. It's been over a month actually since our last one. So last time we talked about hero pools being implemented. Now we're talking about hero pools, how they're working, and then the experimental stuff. So pretty much all the changes from that developer update.
Right.
And we don't have everything yet, but there have been the experimental changes like the 3-2-1. Now there's balance changes going on. And maybe we'll talk about some of the new games coming up very soon.
Ooh, lots to talk about because it has been a while, Fitzy.
It has. So first, we'll say why we weren't here. Mr. KarQ went on a little vacay. So you want to talk about what you did, where you went?
I did. So I left for 2 weeks and I traveled to Mars. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I went
back to your homeland of Mars.
I went to the Philippines because my girlfriend's family is from there. She's from there. And, you know, with the whole coronavirus or COVID-19 scare, we're hesitant on going, but we decided to go anyways. Honestly, it wasn't too bad. Cases of when we went, at least, maybe 2-3 weeks ago now. At the time, weren't that many cases. I still don't know if there's any more cases there, but the traveling was rough, to say the least. 25 hours, you know, door to door. Don't think that's fun for anybody. Lots of transfers. 3 transfers to get there. Toronto to Washington D.C., D.C. to Tokyo, Tokyo to
wow.
Philippines.
That's how long were your layovers?
Anywhere between 1 to 3 hours.
Okay, so it wasn't like any overnight layovers at least, but
no, yeah, but it's still just a lot of travel, and I don't know. When you travel, do you bring your Nintendo Switch? Fitzy?
I have. So the longest I've traveled has been like one transfer. Because I've never left the States. So.
Okay.
That's gonna change soon, but you know what? It was going to happen this next couple months, but you know, like you just said, that thing's kind of making travel not as appealing currently. So I'm gonna hold off on that for a little bit. But I have taken my Switch. I sometimes use it on the plane for like an hour or something. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I was gonna ask, do you get dizzy when you use it? I've always wanted to, you know, play the Switch to pass time, but every time I try to use it, I feel like I just get nauseous and I can't.
Really?
And I just get sleepy. Yeah, I can't focus.
I don't know about nauseous. I don't know about nauseous, but sleepy. I think that's kind of more of just like, you know, being in a plane and like the weird air pressure. I don't know. I usually will just watch movies or whatever. Actually, last time I traveled, I learned something from an elderly lady. She was probably about 75 or 80 or whatever. And she was sitting next to me. And I was always confused. Well, no, the newer planes, they've got like the very fancy TV screen and the audio, and you just plug it in or whatever. But I couldn't find out on the older planes. The TV was there, but I couldn't figure out how to get the audio. And I did not know that it was through the seat. I didn't know it was through the seat. And the lady next to me plugged it in. I'm like, what's she plugging in there? And then I went to do mine. Except for mine, I could only get it if I like the way that the jack was like broken or something. I had to like move it a little bit to the side. I had to constantly hold on to it so I could hear. Otherwise, I only heard like parts of it.
One ear. Yeah,
It
'cause
wasn't even 1 year because it was Toy Story. I was watching the most recent Toy Story, and it was like the "You Got a Friend of Me" music. So I'm like, I know this song, and I was like, wow, this sounds really dark. And it was like missing tons of the music, and it was like, what's going on here? And that's when I figured out you just gotta wiggle the cable and hold on to it the entire time. So
yeah, I think the hole is like a little small or a little bigger, so it doesn't snap on the 3.5 millimeter audio jack, so it just falls right out. Yeah, if you like hit it or like
right.
your finger touches it or whatever, right? So
Right.
yeah,
So you went on the trip. How was the weather there?
beautiful, hot every day. Actually, not as hot as you'd think. Like it's hot, but it's not disgustingly humid. Where you walk outside for a minute and you just feel like sweating. It wasn't like that. It was mild. I don't know what the temperature was in Fahrenheit, but it was 28 degrees Celsius every day, roughly, and it felt fine. What's 28 in Fahrenheit? Sounds like an 80 or 85.
That sounds like 80 to 90. Not.
I feel like 90 is a bit too high. 82.4.
Okay.
So how does that? Yeah. That's quite nice, right?
Yeah, 82 point. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
not too hot. I guess it would be the humidity that would be the killer there, if anything.
But yeah, it wasn't bad. But man, I'll tell you something about that Asian city, Manila. It's just traffic is crazy, and
Oh, really?
traffic laws aren't really a thing half the time because half the people are on motorbikes and they'll just like ride on your lane, and the lines don't really mean much because everyone's just one big soupy mess of cars and bikes all together. So I feel like I'd have a heart attack if I actually drove in that city. And it's not even just the Philippines. Lots of parts of Asia have the similar structure where it's just chaotic, and India too. Yeah, it's just wild there, but still a great adventure. Went to flew again there to a separate island called Boracay. Have you heard of that? It's a very very popular destination for like partiers and ravers back in the day.
No, I have not heard of it. No.
Like one of the places to go to Asia. It's where all the DJs go, like Steve Aoki. They go and play there, and very, very touristy. But I went there, and it's different now because they shut it down for a year in order to clean up the beach because people would just be partying there all night, and it's just kind of filthy. Yeah, so they shut down that whole area for a year to clean it up, and now it's like they ban people on the beach past 6 p.m. It's different vibe.
Yeah, that's
kind of vibe. Yeah,
yeah. the boomer vibe. No,
that boomer vibe. Honestly,
9 o'clock, time for bed.
So yeah, trip was good. What have you been doing these past couple of weeks?
Overwatch, some Hearthstone.
Nothing constructive,
crazy.
Not arena. Or are you doing the
Battlegrounds? Have you played Battlegrounds?
I've not. Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm decent. I'm like top 0.01% or something like that. I don't know, something like that.
I don't know, just top 0.1%.
And then
so I assume you find it fun.
Yeah. And then I've been playing Beat Saber. That's one. Do you have a VR set? Have you played VR much?
I don't. I've tried Beat Saber at a convention, but I haven't actually
The learning curve's actually pretty. I'd say it's pretty quick. I think people catch on pretty quickly. That being said,
I've watched you move.
It can be a workout. That being said, and it's good to being cooped up during the winter to get a little exercise since I haven't been going to the gym but should. The usual. But
same.
But yeah, Overwatch. We've had some things happen recently with the hero pools. So let's dive into that. So first week was Hanzo, Mei, Orisa, and Baptiste. Right? Is that the first week? So out of those now I was thrilled. Hanzo was out. I was super excited. So I was happy about that. Were you happy about the Mei change? Because I know a lot of people, or rather the Mei being banned.
For me, I actually don't mind Mei because I'm obviously biased. I'm an anime. I usually play in the back. It's not me that kind of gets messed by the wall. It's usually my Reinhardt or other people. Didn't bother me as much that she was banned or if she got banned or if she didn't. But Yeah, for you, you're happy about Hanzo. I'm indifferent about both of them, to be honest with you. The one I really want banned is actually Widowmaker, because she's the one that goes for me.
Oh, right.
When I'm scoped in as an Ana, I'm pretty easy to hit, right? Because I'm just like, pew, 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 and then she'll like get an angle to headshot me. I feel like I die the most to her out of all the DPS heroes.
Yeah, Widow. I wonder if we'll see her in the second week of. Well, I don't know. We don't know. They still have not said how they're doing it, right? They haven't said, because Overwatch League was okay. It's gonna be based on pick rate, and then they're like, surprise, we're doing it based on pick rate, but not 100%. So then it's like a
draw it.
Yeah, they draw, what is it, like the top, if it's 10% usage or something. Like
the casters draw it. Like they'll give like a certain number of cards. Like if the pool of 2 hero bans they want is like Ryan and Orisa or something as an example, but Ryan is a higher pick rate, they'll put like 6 Ryan cards in and then 4 Ryan cards into that little wheel, and they spin it around, and
it's a little interesting. I kind of like it. I'm glad that there's like a chance for something to show up multiple times, or like that a hero can slip through. But also, I mean, people weren't happy about the Mei slipping through, but but it doesn't have like a, okay, for sure that's going to get banned because that's used 100%. So I kind of like the little randomness.
I do too, because like if it's entirely based on like number 1 pick rate, then every week it's probably just going to be Diva rotating between Diva Ryan. Like if Diva gets banned, we're going to see Ryan Zarya or something as an example. Then if Ryan gets banned next week, we'll still see Diva with like Winston or whatever. It's just going to be a permanent rotation. So it kind of gives it a bit more variance, which I'm okay with as well.
Now, the healer, and so Orisa and Bat being banned. So going back to, ladder play and what's happening there. So it seems like they just kind of randomly did it. But then Hanzo Mei was like, didn't seem random. So I wonder if they specifically targeted DPS, or were just like, we'll just pick whatever and whatever happens. So I think second week will be a better tell on how they're kind of going to do it. Yeah,
it might be a similar way they did it to Overwatch League, just without the whole fancy like draw. It's like they'll put probability, like these were the top picked heroes. The probability of this one being chosen is higher, but then they'll just roll the dice between the two.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, probably.
That is.
Yeah,
it is.
Throwing guesses out there. Wait, who do you think? We'll have a little game here. Who do you think will get the ban hammer for the second week of ranked ladder?
McCree. Torb. I don't know about you. I have seen Torb literally like every single game.
yeah, no kidding. I was so surprised. Came back from my little vacation, and I'm like, why is Torb in every single game right now? What is going on?
Yeah, and then Diva. I'm gonna go with Diva. And what was the other one? Let's say, do we think Lucio? I'm gonna go with Lucio. Let's throw Lucio in there.
Okay, so your predictions are tank, Diva, DPS, McCree, Torb, and support Lucia.
If we're going by pick rates potential, I'm
gonna guess the opposite. I'm gonna say Rhine, and then for DPS, Widow, McCree.
Oh, Widow, right.
And then for supports, I think Ana might get banned.
It was really nice not playing against double sniper. As much as like I can handle, like Hanzo's annoying, but I can handle when it's just Widow. It's like, okay, here's a Widow, sure. But when it's like Hanzo and Widow, you go for the Widow, Hanzo kills you. You go for the Hanzo kills you. You go for anything, both the snipers kill you. So it's like I'm glad that we had a chance, that there was already feeling that there's not going to be that hero. Like it felt good to know that Hanzo wasn't going to be there. That being said,
you eliminated that comp. Yeah.
That being said, as someone who also uses Mei as my secondary, when there's I don't know, a McCree Tor Brigida, it was interesting to see. So like I had to pull out more of my hero pool of going to Ashe, pulling out Symmetra. I pulled out the Bastion a couple times.
Ooh.
And there was plenty of people that are like, what are you gonna do when Sommer's banned? And it's like, I mean, I survived when Mei was banned, so I don't know that it really affected me as much as people had anticipated it would. And
you could also play your tank placements or in your support placements during that week too.
That's true. But it was also nice. I actually had a game where someone recommended that I play Ash, and I was like, whoa, you're telling me to play Ash? And I was like, hey, listen, you trusted it. This is your call, all right? If I underperform, and they're like, do you want a mercy too? And I'm like, no, that's too much. That's too much pressure. But
how did you do? Did you win that game though? At least.
Yeah. It was. I don't think that I was crucial to our victory, but it was because they had McCree Torb. They had McCree Torb Brigida, and again, Somber just like struggles because of the turret, and you can't really focus Torb because of the armor, and then McCree is McCree, so
flashes. Yeah, I feel like the turret's probably the what do you find the most annoying amongst those three specifically as a Sombra player?
They just can two-shot you. You just can't kill them, and they can kill you. So Sombra just the only value you can get there is hacking Reinhardt, and the only way to do that is if you have a Zarya that gives you bubble.
Yeah, because then you have to reliably LOS the Torb turret if it's in a good spot, and that thing's just going to interrupt you. Yeah,
if you want to reliably get the value. So if it's just working. It's interesting to find like, okay, they've got that composition. We're limited to, because I was limited because of the hero pools, and finding out like, okay, we've got this, they've got that. What of my other picks? Because Somber's clearly not going to work here. What are we going to pull out? So I am totally fine with that. Did you have an instance where you like really wanted to go Baptiste and you're like, I can't. I know he's not meta right now, so no. Okay, never mind.
I think Baptiste works best as a hero paired with Orisa right now, because you kind of have to play around one central area. I mean, it could work with the Rein Zarya because they play kind of together, but then Anna's fine in that regard. And if you're gonna run BAP, same idea. You could play BAP with the Rein Zarya, but why not just play the Anna? You can sleep the enemy Rein,
right?
Nade both of them. So I think BAP pairs best with Orisa, but Orisa's banned, so I never really had a reason to switch to or feel like I needed a BAP in any sort of situation. And I think in the Overwatch League this past weekend, there was some more Baptiste gameplay. People whipped it out even after all the nerfs, right? But I think it was mostly in cases where they ran the Orisa Diva comp. And again, Orisa.
Right, Orisa.
I really think Orisa is the key in order to.
Well, it's a stationary composition. You're not moving as much. What else was it? Oh, the other. So do you have anything else to add about, I guess, for hero pools? We talked about next week, or we don't know. We don't know. Isn't it? It's gonna be on Thursday.
Thursday. I think Thursday. Right. Yeah, we gave our predictions, what we feel about it. Yeah. Well, how do you feel overall, though? I'll start.
Good.
Honestly, it's pretty good. I'm indifferent to some, but at the end of the day, I think we'll get a better idea of how we feel once we try a couple weeks. This is the first week. We only have one. We had nothing to compare it to, right? But I think once we try these hero pools for maybe 4 weeks, a full month, where we've had 4 consecutive weeks of different compositions being run, then we'll get a better feel for our true feelings towards it. But obviously, first impressions, I like it, and then how you said you like it. We'll
so one of the things,
as long as Hanzo's banned,
so one of the things, do we think that there were lots of Torbjorns because Hanzo was banned? Was Torbjorn just the secondary to Hanzo? And because in the same play style, you press E, you shoot lots of bullets, and you run at people. That's kind of like that's what Torb and Hanzo both do. Is they use an ability and they run at people. Like they don't care. So do we think that it was like, oh, Torb's just kind of a Hanzo, you just play him differently? Because he can still two-shot, he can't one-shot, but
Yeah. I mean, Torb's always been good dealing with dive, dealing with flankers, right? That turret, like he has armor, and then that shotgun, really good up close, right? He's always been fantastic against Winston Diva, and we just didn't see dive for a long time. And then as soon as Ryan Diva comps became a thing, Mei was essential because Wall is so good in its own right. And I actually think it's the Mei ban, not so much Hanzo, that kind of deterred, or that kind of allowed Torb to dominate. Because that extra wall can shut down Torb for a few seconds where he does nothing really. And, you get too close and the Mei freezes you, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I think it's mostly the Mei that helped Torb rise up. Just on a surface level. I'm trying to think of it more, the theory behind why it came out. What do you think?
No, I mean, my thinking is Hanzo's gone. They have a similar play style, and that's where I was putting that. But the other thing is, I'm curious. So I think the big heroes to be banned, if they do, what largest effect they'll have. I think getting Brigitte gone will open up a lot because of dive and whatnot. And then other one being Reinhardt. If Reinhardt's banned, like there's a big change of composite. Like you can run Winston Diva, but then again you're doing dive, and then if you've got like what Diva Orisa, run Diva Orisa. Do you run? I don't know.
But if it's ranked, people can still run Orisa Hog. I think. In just, But yeah, we'll probably just see if Ryan is banned, it's going to be permanently dive. But then at the same time, that's going to actually force Torb and Brig to be played at all times. So if you're going to ban Ryan, like if Blizzard's doing it strategically where they're thinking about counters, like they could do it where, if we're going to ban Ryan, let's ban Brig, let's ban Torb, let's ban stuff that hard counters, quote unquote, counters dive, and see where that goes and see what people come up with.
Right. Yeah, it'll be. I'm excited again for another set of changes.
Me too.
I think overall it has made it more interesting. And you know that like, oh shoot, there's a Torbjorn in every game. But I know on Thursday that everything could change and we won't see Torb fruit. So it's like, you don't get the constant like annoyance. But anyways, okay, so let's move on to experimental changes. So they added the extra, you got to click Q for a game. You got the quick play, the competitive, the arcade, and then they've also added the experimental mode where they put in experimental changes. And the first thing they did was the 3-2-1. So they had the 3 DPS, 2 supports, and 1 tank. And then they also changed tanks a lot. I don't know if we need to go too crazy into those changes, but all the off tanks like Roadhog, Zarya got big buffs and big things that were only for that mode to make sure that, if there's only 1 tank, are they going to be strong enough? Did you get a chance to play that at all?
I did, and let me tell you, I did not enjoy my time playing it. And I tried all 3 rules. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. What did you think?
I felt the same, but that was kind of due to the fact that, when we talked about it last time, when we were talking about this change, one of my major concerns was, is it going to be competitive? And because what you're playing there is just like a glorified quick play to me. You go in, people are like, let's play the new stuff, but not really care at all about winning. And that's fine. But for me, I'm like, okay, I tested it and I'm done. I'm not gonna keep playing it because it's not competitive. It's literally like quick play rules set, and then it's also, there's nothing on the line. No one really cares. So to me, I felt this very similar on like, yeah, it's cool. They changed some stuff, but I don't think any of that's gonna go live. I don't think it should go live, and yeah, that was pretty much. First experiment though, cool. Sure. They tested it out that it worked and people tested it. I'm sure they were getting some data. And this was the first thing that like was a, PTR-esque type changes that console was able to test and everybody else was able to test without having the PTR downloaded. So it'd be interesting to get their viewpoint of like, oh, cool. I was so happy to be able to test this out this time. But I think a big thing that came from that was there were so many people that were like, this is terrible. And like people freaking out. What are they doing? Why are they buffing Roadhog? This is a terrible idea.
It's an experiment. It's called experimental. People forget a lot of the stuff. Yeah. Wasn't going to go live. The whole point was to just see how it goes. And I don't know what the general consensus of, like, I agree with you where the whole idea of it just being a glorified quick play because it's not competitive because there's people of all skill ranks, being thrown into that lobby. And I think the best way to kind of tell if something's working or not is to, have an even playing field across your rank. Like whatever rank you're at doesn't matter, but like at least your teammates and the enemy teams are you're you're put up against people of similar skill, and that would give you the best chance to see how the kind of changes perform. Because if we're grandmaster players and we get thrown into a random 1-3-2 lobby and there's just gold players running around, no matter what we play, we'll probably do better than,
right.
And then the other players be like, wow, that character that player played is so strong in this mode. But maybe it's just because, we're higher rank and we're just capitalizing on a lot more mistakes that we normally do. So I think it's important, in my opinion, for experimental mode, if they're going to try changes and they're really thinking about implementing it, like let's just say on the surface level they try 1-3-2 and a lot of people did enjoy it. I think the next time they do experimental, they should add like a soft hidden MMR kind of thing to it. It doesn't have to be like competitive, but close enough where the skill gap isn't as varied to give you a better idea if it should go live or not. And for those who missed it and those who haven't played Overwatch and listened to this podcast and have no idea what we're talking about, because I heard a request where someone's like, oh, I like listening, but I haven't played Overwatch in a while. 1-3-2, what we're saying is an experimental mode that Blizzard added, in which, again, it was, like Fitzy said, 1 tank, 3 DPS, 2 support. And the tank changes were very significant. They modified Zarya to have, what was it? Like if you bubbled an ally, it's like all allies around a circle also get a bubble.
Right.
Or something along those lines. That was the first change. The idea of having the 1 tank was like they wanted to buff the traditional off tanks to feel more like tanky.
Tanks.
Yeah, so it's like a multi-bubble, but Zarya doesn't get as much charge as a result or something. It's like 30 max.
Yeah, they lowered her damage, but they made her more you can tank with other things.
Utility, yeah. And she had more HP. I think she had 500 or something like that.
Right. She had 300 shield health and 200 regular health.
Mm-hmm. And then Roadhog had a fart bubble or fart cloud where, when he takes a breather, you see that little gas cloud around himself. But I think in the 1-3-2 mode, if he if he took a breather and used that ability, a whole cloud of green toxins showed up around him. And if you're in it, you'd get a little bit of healing and take reduced damage. And I thought that was actually a pretty creative way to do it. Did you try playing Roadhog?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much I took a breather off on cooldown or off cooldown. Yep. And it pretty much just puts a soldier healing station that's also it also reduced damage taken. So I was just running around. I had gold healing for a little bit there, just keeping it.
Wow. I didn't have gold healing when I tried it, but
yeah,
it's pretty funny if you can actually do that and silently type to your teammate, "I have gold healing. What's going on, guys?"
Oh yeah,
healers,
get the
supports?
5 medals.
Question mark.
What was the other tank they changed? Ones. They changed D.Va to have more armor. They changed Winston to have more armor. But overall, just like making the various changes to. If they were to go to 1-3-2, those changes weren't like hey, this is going to normal. That's similar to kind of how they did 2-2-2, where Brigitte. Let's look at Brigitte, where it was like, okay, Brigitte works really good in this 3 support lineup, but she's terrible when there's only 2 supports. So they changed her kit around. They gave her 3 armor packs. They gave what was it? The Inspire does more healing in general. So
the whip shot was like a super short cooldown. Yeah,
it takes a little bit to get there, but you're this hero was balanced around 3 supports. Now they had to kind of change it over to having 2, so it takes some time. And if they were to go to 1-3-2, that's there'd be that changing period for like a month where it's just like everything's out of balance and you got to change it up. So, but yeah, they did the 1-3-2, and then that only lasted. How long was that? Was that like
1 week? I think it was actually only a week. That's it. Yeah.
So after that one, they took it down, and they've added the new experimental mode, which is essentially what was on the PTR. So while this was going on, while the first experimental was going on, they put some changes on the PTR. We'll go into those changes here in a second. And then what they did is a week later moved those changes from PTR to experimental. So, and I think that's good. PTR is like, okay, let's test some stability. Let's test craziness of these changes, or like if they're, make sure the public has like what PTR should be used for, or like a new hero could be together. And now they've pushed it to experimental, so then everybody gets to test the changes.
Yes, console players, you are loved.
Yeah.
We didn't forget about you.
And even PC players, not everyone has enough space on their computer to have both. So, or it takes like forever to download.
Or to download. I think that's more of a 20. Yeah, we're in 2020. I feel like storage space shouldn't be a problem for most people. Like people buy a big. I mean, what's the standard size a hard drive comes in? It's not even like it's like a terabyte at least these days, right? Even in laptops, I think, unless I'm just way behind.
Maybe I'm in the past. Maybe I'm in the past. I know that was reasons before. For whatever reason, I know that some people didn't have the PTR, or they just didn't download it. But
or if they, if you start downloading the PTR, it's like 20 gigs. If your internet's not that fast,
yeah,
your little brother trying to watch Netflix downstairs is gonna start,
kick him off.
He's gonna get that loading circle of death.
Good. So they put the changes experimental, and it was back to 222. And so let's go through
what were the changes. Yeah, what were the changes?
Have you read through or do you know the changes?
I think I read them once, but I honestly forgot them all except Diva's booster.
Okay,
nerfed, and that's it.
So Ash, Bob is now immune to sleep.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, I do remember this. Okay, that first change. Wait, let's talk about that. I don't like that change. Now, number one,
I'm for it and against it. I'm not sure. The consistency, but I'll let you talk.
I mean, I feel like being able to sleep Bob isn't a turret, right? You can't sleep. Speaking of sleeping turrets, that was a bug in the game for a little bit, where you're able to sleep torp turrets and diva bombs, but they already got rid of it, right? They hot fixed it, I believe, unless it's still live.
No, they fixed it. They fixed it.
Okay. But I don't know. I've always felt like Bob is the extension. He's like a living Omnic. So if he's living, you should be able to sleep him. But I guess they added the idea of not being able to sleep Bob to kind of give Ash or give that ability a bit more power, her ultimate. But I feel like they're adding power in the wrong way. I feel like you should just buff Ash as a hero itself. Like, I don't think anybody here thinks she's overpowered by any stretch. She's like hardly played. Let's be real here. And I think Bob itself is a fine ultimate. It's a zoning tool. It's annoying if it's in your way. It forces a sleep cooldown. It forces people to play LOS. It's like a zoning tool, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I feel like you should add power and buff, more reload speed or more ammo. I don't know.
I don't know what the direction is to buff Ash.
Coach Gun nerf or Coach Gun cooldown nerf. To make it come up faster, maybe for a bit more mobility.
Right.
That might be enough in itself. Something like that. Not trying to buff Bob. That's a soft buff. I don't think that's gonna make her like a must pick by any stretch. She still gets outshined by a lot. But if you want to give her a little bit more power, I'd say add it there. Maybe to Coach Gun.
Yeah,
as an idea.
I do think originally I was like, this is a pretty cool change. Sure, yeah, it's pretty annoying when Bob gets slept and he does nothing. But then at the same time, I was like, I mean, you go in with Roadhog ult and get slept, and it cancels the ult there. So, and I think there was one argument I saw that was like, well, it's like Genji, he has to worry about all these cooldowns, and it's like, well, sleeping a nano Genji is a little bit harder than sleeping a Bob that's gonna walk to a point and stand there, and it's enormous hitbox. So, what do you think about the skill involved in sleeping Bob as opposed to sleeping anything else to cancel the ultimate?
I mean, Roadhog moves, so you still have to aim it. But yeah, Bob is stationary. So, I mean, yeah, it can be canceled. But at the same time, like most Ana, I can't speak for all Ana players, but if I'm playing Ana and I see a Genji on the other team and I know they have Blade, we don't have a defensive ult, I'm like, preparing in my head that I might have to save my sleep dart and try to cancel it. Right. Or if they have a Pharah, I think about that. But whenever I see an Ash, honestly, I like just forget she has Bob half the time. Like I don't prepare. Like they're gonna have Bob. I will save my sleep for it. They're gonna use it this fight. That one's not as like instinctual yet because I never feel like it's enough of a threat. Half the time I don't even have to sleep the Bob because he's like sent to a bad angle, or you can just like LOS it just fine. So. Like
so if that's the case, do you think making him immune to sleep is that big a deal?
It's not, but for the sake of the idea, if the idea for them is trying to buff Ash in a small way, that's not the right direction. But yeah, it wouldn't make or break anything, to be honest with you. Like
Right.
if it goes through, fine, whatever. But
and
yeah,
I'm kind of on the same of, cool, but it's not, like you said, it's not make or break. It's if it shows up, all right, if it's too dominant, they can revert it. And I think it would be okay to make it in the game, but not really pushing for it. I wouldn't really be disappointed if it didn't make it. So just interesting that they were going this route. It's funny because I'm like, well, maybe she shouldn't be able to stop an ultimate with one ability, and I'm sitting over here hacking everything, just shutting down everything with one ability.
Yeah, with a short cooldown ability.
You can sleep. What's sleep? 10 seconds or?
No, it's like 12.
12? Okay.
12 or longer. I can't remember. I don't even know.
I
should know these numbers, but I don't.
Yeah, you just had the feel. You know how long it is. It's just
yeah. You go off feel at this point.
So there's sometimes where I'll be like, okay, Anna, you sleep the Bob and I'll hack him, or I'll say, hey, I'm gonna hack the Bob. Can you sleep him afterwards? So I'll actually kind of coordinate Anna a lot with that, because otherwise you're stacking on top. Yeah. But usually I let the Anna sleep first because they never trust me, and also will just end up doing it anyway, because they don't understand that like hack shuts them down, even though it's clearly been around for a while, but people still don't know.
Still forget.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it just goes to show how often they play against Ash or with Sombra. I hardly don't see Sombra unless you're in my games too, to be honest with you.
So anyways, Ash changes. That's the Bob. We'll see. Now, what was interesting was the rest. Well, a lot of these changes were on the PTR and then it went into experimental. That change was not. And there's a couple of other ones that were not on the PTR, but then they added them in experimental. So I don't know if that's because they were just coming down the pipe and they're like, we should add that too. Or if it was like, we don't need to test that on PTR. I'm not sure. I don't know. Because I feel like Sleeping Bob is something that making sure he's immune to would be something that would be like PTR testing potentially. I don't know. Anyways, Baptiste, his Exo Boots, charge time reduced from 1 to 0.7 seconds. So tell me, is this, do you ever feel like your Exo Boots cooldown or charge time? Because now, you essentially just have to crouch for 0.7 seconds instead of 1 to get a full jump. Do you think that's a big enough deal to, you think this change is even needed?
I don't. I actually think Bap is fine. He just works better in different comps. I mean, Bap was perma-picked for a season and a half.
Right.
Last season.
And I think that was
really
a lot of
overtuned. Yeah.
Well, and then the Sigma Rissa whole composition, like that was just that was his bread and butter.
So well with it. Yeah, exactly. But I didn't think that was needed, but it's a nice buff to maybe see him start being played outside of Orisa comps as he stands. I think Bap is fine as a hero, but more mobility. I mean, I didn't try it to see how it feels, because like looking at the number itself, 1 to 0.7, okay, doesn't mean much to me until I like see it in person and feel it. And based off that, I think it's nice, but yeah, I try not to jump too often, because if snipers are banned, then yeah, this change is huge. But if snipers are still in the game, me jumping all the darn time with those boots is probably not the best idea, because that's how I die half the time. I'm just gonna instinctively hold my crouch. Oops, I accidentally jump. Pew.
Yeah, it's like doing the super jump with Mercy. You're like, you don't need to do that all the time. You don't. Just fly in the air. Push! You're dead.
Yep. But yeah, if these changes go through and snipers are banned with the hero pools thing and rank, then okay,
all for it.
Pretty strong, yeah.
So the other thing with BAP was cooldown lowered from 15 to 13 seconds. The regenerative burst.
That's pretty big, actually.
It's its only self-heal.
Yep.
Did you feel there were a lot of times, or have you felt a lot of times where it's like, oh no, I just used that and now I don't, because it lasts for what, 5 seconds or something?
It's actually that burst. That's a really strong ability, and it's good if you have flankers or dive heroes, because if you burst preemptively and then they go off and do their own thing, they're still going to be pre-healed for the next couple of seconds. So even if they take some more poke, you can still heal them without
Oh, right.
doing anything, right? Yeah, it's a lingering effect, so it's quite nice. Shorter cooldown, faster boots means you're more slippery, especially against flankers like Tracer trying to clip you. You'll have regenerative burst, up more often because it's on a shorter cooldown, and then you can charge your boots quicker to kind of alter her aiming angle and hopefully mess her up or go on the high ground. Yeah, it makes them a lot. Actually, if you combine the two buffs and with certain bans in the pool on certain weeks, I actually think Bat might be a must pick, especially if Anna will get banned or something, for example. So, yeah,
I mean,
changes.
we'll have to see. I don't. Again, I'm not a huge Bat whatever, and I haven't seen him for the past couple months, or past month or so, whatever. So. That's the change. I guess we'll see if we still don't know if these are actually going to go live.
We're not
kind
sure
of assuming.
Enough, I'm kind of assuming this will go live if this was on PTR beforehand. And
right.
This is less of a true experiment, but more of just allowing console players to test the PTR changes.
I think the regenerative burst was on the PTR, but the boots was not, if I'm remembering correctly.
Right.
Anyways, so one of the changes that was also on PTR that is now in the experimental is the D.Va boosters cooldown increase from 3 to 4. I think everyone can agree that this change was...
That's fine.
Fine. I mean, it was 5. They buffed it to 3.
It was 5. She was never played. It went to 3, permanently played. Let's put her on the middle ground.
But 4. Did the change also happen right when Double Shield got destroyed, right?
Yes, though. Yeah. Yes.
They seemed...
But...
seem to do that sometimes, where it's like... what kind of bam, and they just buff something, nerf another thing. It's like, whoa, just it. You know what? I'm okay because they're kind of reverting stuff, and they've reverted more things recently, and I think that's fine. I think it's fine to go over and pull it back because as long as they're responsive to it, and this was what a month and a half, 2 months that D.Va's been at the 3 seconds. So, and with the potential of them being banned as well if they are too strong. So. I'm okay with their, being that more experimental of going for these bigger changes. But yeah, I think the 4 seconds, we'll see how that sits and see if, God, it's really annoying when you're like, here she comes and she's coming and she just boost. You just can't get away from her. So, yeah.
And if they're really good, they do a little swoop up and then they're in the air. They're still airborne for a bit. They fall down slowly and then they get to boost again because 3 seconds is so darn short. Looking at 5 seconds, 3 seconds doesn't look like a lot at first, but like I said this last time, it's 40%
uptime
less. Yeah.
Or 40% less downtime or whatever it was.
40% less downtime, 60% more up. I'm just confusing myself.
Don't do math on... don't do...
I do not do math. Yeah, no math on the podcast.
So yeah, D.Va, I think that'll be good. And that's for sure going to go. Mei Ice Wall cooldown increase from 10 to 13 seconds. Now, so Mei currently, if you put an Ice Wall down and cancel it immediately, it would be 10 seconds. If you put the Ice Wall and you leave it up the whole duration, it'll be 5. Cooldown starts right when you place it. So now when you put the Ice Wall down and cancel it right away, it'll be 13 seconds. And then if you put the Ice Wall down, leave it up, it'll have 8 seconds. So what do you think from a non-Mei perspective? Because I don't know that this is the change that is going to be nice, Mei is not a problem. That being said, Ice Wall is very powerful and it's one of, if not her strongest abilities. And yeah, so what do you think on? Do you think this is a good change? Do you think she needs more change? We haven't seen her because of the hero ban, but
yeah, I agree with you where you say I think Mei's Ice Wall is such a unique ability and probably one of her best abilities because it can single-handedly just cut someone off and then you kill that person and then you just win the fight off such a short cooldown. But I feel if Mei's missed their first wall, then yeah, you'll feel the effects of this nerf for sure. But I feel most adequate. It's very rare that Mei's miss walls on certain chokes when you can just pre-line it up, just wait for it, and it's pretty much guaranteed to work. So I feel this nerf is nice, but she'll still be played a lot because as long as you hit the first one, your job's done, right? You're pretty much guaranteed.
You get the one kill and then you're up 6v5.
Yeah, and then that change where you can kind of see the pillar you break is kind of cool, but I don't think it's enough. It's still hard to get that much damage off in time to save that person half the time. Even if you can see the pillar you're focusing and you break it in time. They also made the change where like the big heroes like Ryan and Roadhog can actually fit through one of the
Is that one
pillars,
live yet?
I think that will be part of it if part of this experimental change.
I don't know if
Not
that,
sure if
I
it's
don't know if
live
that's
now.
live yet, but yeah, I think that change was good. I think that's good. Because if it sucks when like you focus the one, you do the counterplay, you kill the one pillar, and then it's like, haha, too bad they can't get out, and you just see the runner like trying to jump to get out.
Yeah,
hopelessly.
So I don't know. I don't know if I mentioned this in previous podcasts, but my suggestion always for Mei Wall nerf was to just get rid of the idea of the pillars and just have one uniform HP. Like if enough damage is put onto it, it will
total
break.
wall.
Yeah, but then if you think people go like, oh, that's too much of a nerf, not really. You're literally putting up like an extra like 500 HP shield or whatever, and it blocks people off that you can't walk through. It does the job itself, and if it gives you more chances to counterplay. But if they don't counterplay, it still does a job where it cuts them off. You can kill them, but one shared HP across, or like shoot any pillar, and if enough damage goes in, the whole thing breaks. I always thought that was okay, and then you can make it 10 seconds instead of 13 again. I don't know. What do you think about that as an approach?
Maybe they could even make it so, let's say, so there's 5 pillars. Let's say you shoot one of the pillars. Maybe it does like full damage to that pillar and half to the ones next to it. So, like if your team doesn't focus fire, as long as they're close to the right thing, it'll collectively destroy them. Because I feel like if people actually were able to be like, listen, ice wall goes up, we attack that pillar, and then like everybody shot it, it goes down. It does, not.
Though. I agree.
But I feel like so many people are just like not necessarily trying to counterplay the wall enough. Not to say not to say, because ice wall is super strong and like you just need a couple seconds. But I think if people were like, listen, team, ice wall goes up, we attack this pillar, but boom, okay, we can heal through the ice wall, and they can back out now that it's one. You just have to destroy the one. Because there's so many times where I'll see my team just like standing there not shooting the ice wall. They're like waiting for it to go down, and it's like, well, it's not gonna go down for 5 seconds if you don't shoot it. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I guess I'm unsure of, like you said, I don't know that this is really the way to nerf Mei, or if it's really going to do anything. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. As someone I'm too biased by play. Like I've played her for so long that it's like you have this way that Mei is supposed to work, and I can't really like see. I don't know what they need to nerf, to be honest. To be like, all right, now she's good, but not. Or now she's in a good place rather. So.
Yeah, I think it's probably cooldowns, I suppose. Out of that wall change, and just nerf some cooldowns. I actually think you can keep multi-freeze, because I do think that's a bit more counterable. People give credit for, like a shield, and like spacing it out a little bit more.
I think lowering the window was good for that, because you can. It's really hard to freeze a Rhine now, to be honest. If they just like back up, because you get the like 1 second and you just block it for 1 second and it restarts the counter.
Right.
All right, let's move on to Orisa. So Fusion Driver, the primary fire damage increased from 10 to 11. It was nerfed down to what, 9? Or 8 or something?
It used to be 11, right? Or something. Or it used to be 12? No, it used to be 11. It got nerfed to 9, and now we got pushed back to 10. Yeah. Did I hear that right?
No, it goes 10 to 11. So.
Or did it used to be 12? It used to be that number, maybe. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but they nerfed it and they buffed it twice.
Right.
So we're getting back to wherever we were. I mean, again, we haven't really seen a ton of Orisa. I think this is fine. Sure.
I think it's fine too.
We'll
Agreed.
see.
Yeah, all the nerfs to Fortify and Shield, we stopped seeing her. So
yeah,
those are a bit more punch. Sure.
Again, happy with the fact that like Blizzard is okay with like, we're seeing way too much of this. Nerf the heck out of it. Okay, let's bring it back. So I'm okay with them going overboard and bringing it back, because they're bringing it back, and I think that's fine. Sigma, Mr. Gravity, getting a little big nerf previously, where his ultimate gets canceled by everything. Pretty much if you would alt and die, it would still go off. Now it's like you get hooked, you get slept, you get flashbanged, you get hacked, you get whatever, that all gets canceled. So
Right.
he went from having a very like strong, consistent ult to like it's really hard to get a ton of value out of it. But anyways, Gravitic Flex, ultimate cost reduced 10%, so it's easier to get it. And flight speed increased 30%. So now we have like a Valking Sigma in a way. What do you think? I first thoughts are like, sure, all right, it's harder to get value out of the ultimate, so you need to be able to dodge these abilities like the hook and the sleep and the hack and da. So I think it's fine. Again, we haven't seen a ton of Sigma recently.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about? Is there anything to add? Do you agree with that, or?
I mean, I didn't see the speed, but I heard when those changes came out, you actually tested it, and he does fly around at almost Valk speed, right? Is that correct? Like right now, he's a slowpoke. When you cast alt, yeah, you can move around and fly in the air, but you're still kind of clunky. So
I don't think it's quite
numbers,
quite
30%.
Valk speed. And granted, you can't Guardian Angel to people, so you're not, because when people think Valk, you just imagine this Mercy like
the GA
flying
speed.
across with the Valk or with the Guardian Angel. So
right,
yeah, it's not quite as fast, but you can move around enough. So
I think it's a pretty good change because we haven't seen too much Sigma after all the nerfs. He still does a lot of damage outside of his ultimate. Rock's still good, Shield's still fine. He still does a lot of damage with his primary fire, but his ultimate getting canceled all the darn time. This is a huge counter to it, and adding more flight speed and making it easier to gain, still buffs its power without making it as bad as it used to be, because you can still sleep, you can still hack or stun or whatever. It's just harder to do so. So the counterplay at least still exists, but it's just harder to land, as opposed to before. It's like if he just gets that circle on the floor, like everybody's just taking so much damage and they're locked in place. It's just so good. So I like that change.
Yeah,
hopefully we'll see some more Sigma again. Yeah.
All right, another change here. Soldier 76 Helix rockets cooldown reduced from 8 to 6. Now, for me, I'm against this change. I don't know. What do you? I don't want rockets on 6-second cooldown. I feel like
that's a lot. Yeah, for people who don't know, like honestly, I heard that too, and I'm like, that's actually kind of ridiculous. That's really good.
I feel like he shouldn't. The reason why I'm saying this is because the dueling potential. If you like go to 1v1 a soldier and you're like, all right, I'm here. Okay, I dodged the rockets. Okay, I'm fighting him now. He put his healing station down. It's okay. The healing station's almost down. And instead of having that window, now it's like, bam, I got rockets again. All right, you're too bad. You couldn't dodge out one. All right, you're dead. So I don't think he needs that.
Agreed.
I hope they don't.
It's 25%. This is always going to math.
Don't be doing this. Don't be doing this, man. Don't be.
Decrease in downtime. 6 seconds to 8 seconds. Yeah, doesn't sound like much, but 2 seconds in a 1v1 duel, like you said. Him having it up, like he'll use it at the beginning. Maybe you dodged it, puts the heal pad down. Then he has it again so fast. It makes it very, very difficult to deal with. And yeah, I think that would make Soldier pretty darn good.
Not for it. And then he's going to get his ult faster. And yeah, I don't think this is one. And this was one that was on PTR, so we'll see. He was also seeing a lot of play in Overwatch League this past week.
That was more of a result of the hero bans.
Right. But he's still like good, like close to being good enough, right? It's not like he like maybe needs a buff. It's like maybe those other heroes need a nerf. But we'll see. He'll revert it back if it's too good.
Yeah, because like people thought he was a meme to play after a while because nobody played him for a couple of seasons. But that's because double shields and all the stuff were in. But now that those things are nerfed, slowly you're even seeing it now without the same bans in Overwatch League. The ones we have in ranked, I'm still seeing a lot more soldiers running around these days. They're doing fine, honestly speaking. Like, pressuring Rhine shields, getting off angles.
Hey, he can run.
Showing up in the enemy backline.
He's fast. He's Self-heal, you can be back there alone.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the final change. Sombra, my
Ooh.
girl. She got a machine pistol, aka her primary fire. Spread decreased by 10%. So I was surprised to see this. I was surprised the last time they changed it, but but when they did that change was when they changed. So sorry, the last time they decreased her spread was when they changed her ultimate being able to gain all charge from health packs. We're talking like 2 years ago.
Oh, that's a long time. Yeah.
And this was before, like right when Brigitte was showing up is when this change went in. So to give you a perspective how long. And that's when she was pretty good. This was anyways. They did nerf her EMP like 3 times based on the all charge rate, the cast time, and then the hack only lasts for 5 instead of 6 seconds. And then of course hack was nerfed as well. So this is a buff to her, making it pretty much more accurate. You'll hit more headshots, and Zenyatta's gonna melt even faster. So I mean, like, I'm okay with it because it's a buff, woohoo, but I'm not sure that this is what she needed. And I'm kind of scared for this going live, to be honest, but granted, there's plenty of other people that, her win rate doesn't speak that she's her win/pick rate doesn't necessarily show that she's in a dominant position. But I mean, we've seen in Overwatch League even that she is banned for this time because she was picked enough. So again, similar to Soldier, like if they're being picked enough that they're getting banned in Overwatch League, then they probably don't really need a buff. But maybe it was because of the bans. Maybe she does need a little buff. I'm not really for this change, but we'll see if it goes live, I guess. What do you think about it?
I mean, obviously, Sombra's like my 3rd least played hero, but playing against it, don't think I'll have any fun. But objectively speaking, I mean, I don't know. You're the expert on the hero. Objectively speaking, do you ever find that you never get that last hit?
All the time on tracking, all the time.
So that might be pretty significant again, especially if you're assassinating somebody in the backline, other than Zen. Like, I feel like Zen's easy as is with the normal spread, but let's say in Anna, for example, where her hitbox is if she jumping around and turning around and spinning, that's pretty big. You'll be able to confirm some kills that you normally wouldn't. And yeah, I'm kind of scared with you. She might get picked way too much now, or get picked a lot more enough that like she'll be thrown to the pool of hero bans.
Right.
And ranked. Wait, so actually I was going to ask you, what, after the EMP nerf with the cast time, now that you've had, a month or 2 of trying it out and playing it, what do you think of that?
Oh, that's been like 6 months of cast time. The cast time.
Has it already been that long?
Yeah, Sigma or when they went 222. That's when they changed that.
Oh, the EMP thing?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it's been 6 months.
Yeah, because
do you feel like it's getting canceled quite a bit, or?
It's not as much so getting canceled, but that's also because I'm playing around it a little more of being hesitant.
That's also something to consider. That's true.
Yeah, so you have to play a little safer. And there's times where I know I won't EMP because if I'm not full health, I'm scared I'm gonna die before I get it off. Whereas other times I'm like, if I get this, I know if I get the EMP, it's like, all right, I can be in the middle of the team, I can EMP, and I can leave, and it's cool. But if I'm at like 50 health and I go for an EMP, we're gonna die. Granted, maybe that's fine. But yeah, the cast time it still just feels wrong. But again, there's that bias of like I've played the hero so much and I have this how she should feel or how abilities should feel. So yeah, I definitely have changed kind of what I'm doing and wouldn't get canceled because of that. But there's times where like I won't go in an EMP because I know that there's the risk of getting canceled. But yeah, we'll see. I think that's the change that they could revert, if anything. I don't think she needs this 10% buff on her gun. But if that's the direction that they want to send her, then so be it. She's going to be like a McCree, killing people. But makes her ability or the range that you're allowed to stay. It lets her stay out of the danger zone of a lot of heroes like McCree, where you don't have to worry about being in flashbang range. And you can remember when Tracer got the buff.
Yes.
Of
fall off damage, right?
The fall off damage. This is a similar spot where she can play a little further back or play at the same distance and get more shots. So kind of that's how I think that'll probably be the most relatable is Tracer, how like she got you didn't think it was too annoying, but you're like, okay, wow, she can actually duel you at a decent range now. So I think we'll see similar on that for Sombra.
Cool.
Well, so that was all the changes. Do you want to talk about some of the new games coming up? What games are you excited for?
Oh, I don't know. Have you heard of this little shooting game from Riot Games?
Now,
I don't know if you heard about that one.
So, okay, how do you say it?
Valorant.
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 Yes.
It's kind of like, I think they have in part of the Riot Games lore, or the League of Legends lore, there is a place called Valora, I think. That's one of their locations, or one of the settings for some of the players. Part of the lore. Anyways.
So Valorant.
Yeah.
This was what they had called Project A. So if you haven't been paying attention or haven't been around, when did they announced it? Back in like October, I think, is when they announced the tease of the beginning. But it seems like we're getting closer to. I think what did they say? Release date?
Summer 2020 beta. Yeah, I think.
So that's pretty soon.
Very soon.
Very soon. And it looks from they put like a quick, what was it, like a 2.5-minute video or something of like the gameplay of it. Looks more CS:GO than Overwatch for sure. I mean, it has the same 100%. Like you go defuse the thing, you go defuse the bomb or whatever it is. So Apex for me had enough ability, because like the battle royales that I had played, Fortnite, no, there weren't abilities. There was building, but everyone had the same thing. Realm Royale was classes, but I don't know. It didn't quite do it for me. But then, what's the other one? Oh, PUBG, of course. That didn't have really abilities. But Apex was enough. Like, yeah, the abilities are there, and you can use them to get a tactical advantage. So that was enough for me to draw me in from the Overwatch MOBA perspective. And it looks like there might be enough of that to at least like get me interested. From the, I never played CS:GO really. I've played like an hour of it or something. So I know I'll play it, and hopefully it's cool. Hopefully it's fun. I'm always open for having fun games. Granted, there's lots of people that are like, I'm switching, I'm done, Overwatch, I'm done.
Remember when Project A first got announced? There's so many, not to call any names up, but there's so many people just like, I'm done with Overwatch. I'm just going to go pro in Project A. Yeah,
They already got it in their Twitter bio.
Twit longer. Project A Pro, I'm gonna go pro Project A because Overwatch, it doesn't support this scene, and I'm burnt out on the game, and they're not making these changes, blah blah blah. But yeah, I guess like you said, first impressions, much more CS:GO-y. I've definitely put my hours in CS:GO. I think it appeals to people who not to be rude, but just who play more aim intensive heroes. So people who maybe main Winston, Rhine, or Mercy. Like, Overwatch brought people into the FPS genre, but they may not necessarily play like FPS heroes or heroes that require precision type aiming. And I don't think it's gonna kill Overwatch by any stretch. Some people really think Overwatch is a dead game, and it blows my mind that people think this game will
they said that about Apex. They said that about Fortnite. They said that about plenty. Like, yeah, I play Apex. Yeah, I play Fortnite. But Overwatch is its own thing.
It really is. It's a standalone thing. It's not. There's really not much to compare it to. What do we have? Paladins.
Paladins and what was it? TF2.
Yeah.
TF2.
That's a bit different. That's a different generation. I think the closest thing we have to Overwatch is Paladins, but
Right.
I mean,
so I'm excited for it.
so am I.
I'm excited for people to be excited for it. Oh, there was what I want to say. Going back to the whole, FPS, but not really playing FPS. I can't remember who said it, but someone was like, "Yeah, I'm quitting Overwatch play. Da da da. I can't wait. Da 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 da. I can't wait to get out of here." And then one of the responders was like, "Yeah, I'm a main tank. I can't join you guys over there. I'm stuck with Overwatch forever."
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was, but it's some main tank. But
Yep.
But yeah, I hope maybe there will be some ability or some character in there that has some sort of abilities enough to transfer over. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens when it happens. I'm excited, and
I'm excited. Agreed. I think we're all willing to stream it. YouTube is a different story. The biggest dilemma for me is whether to switch content on that department. I think streaming it is fine. For a lot of the Overwatch players will probably switch and try streaming it, see if it's fun.
Oh, probably everybody's gonna try to stream it the first day. They're gonna be like, yeah, this is my big break, and then it's like, oh wait, there's all these other people because literally every single person streaming it.
Yeah, and that's that tweet I mentioned. Everybody's leaving, and then we, as Overwatch content creators, keep everybody else. The competition is all left. There's only like 5 streamers left in Overwatch, and who do they go to when there's no one else to watch?
30-minute DPS queue time.
That's right.
Hey, maybe that'll help the DPS queue time because there'll be less DPS players.
Oh,
maybe that's the problem we need to resolve all along.
Yeah, all the main tank mains are like, "Hey, I never left. I can't play Project A with you guys. Got that main tank aim, and now the tank queues are matching the DPS queues."
We'll see. So yeah, Valorant soon-ish. Another one coming up that's a pretty big one is Animal Crossing. You
never played that before.
Never played? Never played it, really?
Never played a single Animal Crossing game in my life. I heard it's kind of like Minecraft, but without the mining, but more crafting. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's very casual in terms of it's not like you're like fighting people or whatever. You're hanging out, you're chilling. It's a very chill game. I know I'll try it. I don't know how much I'll be playing of it. I don't know if I'm like grinding it for like a week or whatever, or a month at a time or something. But
what's the appeal? Do you just play it for yourself? Like previous Animal Crossings, if you can't, could you like play with friends? Because I feel like the appeal of something like Minecraft is you get to like play in a server with people and you build stuff together or whatever. But
I think there is like a multiplayer. You can have a multiplayer town. Yeah.
Right. But like before that, I know Animal Crossing's an old title, right? People have been playing it since early days of the DS. GameCube. So you would just build the world for yourself, right? No one to share it with.
Yep. You could take your memory card and go visit another person's town. If you went to a friend's house, you could get their memory card and join their town. Drop by. There's some towns that only had specific fruits and stuff, but yeah, it's a very chill game and stuff. Again, maybe that'll be perfect for queue times of just hanging out.
That's true. You know what? Oh, you're right. Yeah,
plucking some weeds.
Hook up the Switch as a secondary.
Yeah.
Monitor up during queues. But I mean, I don't know. Good luck with that. You're gonna get some fast queues when everyone's playing Valorant.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the other game that's coming out? There's a Final Fantasy VII. I don't know when that exactly is.
Remake.
It's soon. Yeah, the remake.
Like that, right?
Have you ever played the Final Fantasy series?
I played 10. Final Fantasy X.
10. Okay.
A lot. I beat it like 3 times.
10 was I never finished it. I got to like the very, very end. I borrowed it from a friend and got to the very end, but I don't think I ever finished it. But that was the one. I love
the story.
That was the Final Fantasy that I've played the most. I had 7 as a kid. I remember it's on the PlayStation 1, and one of my mom's friends actually bought it for us, and then we went through, and it said hell at one point, and then she's like, just say it said hello. It was a typo. Just tell your mom it said hello. No. And I was like, okay, we got it. Yeah, it was
HE double hockey stick
because it was rated teen. Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah. yeah. So that, I mean, I'm showing my age here a little bit, but that's Final Fantasy 7 is I think 7, 10, and 7 was like a big. Yeah, I mean that's why they're remaking it, because it was such a big one.
It's such a very successful game, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll probably play that as well, because I never finished it as a kid, and it would be cool to kind of revisit being like, oh, I remember that, except for the graphics were way worse then, and it's a lot different now.
You have a PS4? You do, right?
No.
Isn't Final Fantasy 7
is it only
on a PS4?
Well, I might be out of luck. We'll see. Might have to. I don't know. I'll figure that
Final
out.
Final Fantasy traditionally was a PS4 exclusive,
Correct.
Except for the MMO, I think. Final Fantasy 14 or whatever on Steam, maybe PC people. But
I don't know. I'll have to check into that.
You might be out of luck. Yeah, I'll have to check.
Is there any other games you're looking forward to next? Because that's like,
honestly,
what, 2 weeks from now?
No. Honestly, no. I don't play too many games. I like competitive games, and Valorant might be the next one. And for single player, I don't really do much single player games, honestly speaking. I mean, this year I tried it again with Sekiro, which I really enjoyed, by the way. But like once I beat a story once, I'm kind of done. I know you can do a lot more in those single player games, but I'm not an achievement hunter like some other people who just run through everything and walk through every corner. I'm not like that.
I go through, I beat the game, maybe do a couple things at the end. That's about it. I'm not trying to 100%. I'm in the same boat, which is why I play like Overwatch, and my second game right now is Battlegrounds. Third being
competitive,
Apex.
Right? You like that.
Multiplayer competitive, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. For upcoming games, I'm not as excited as I used to be, just because I've already got a massive Steam library of games I've gotten on sale that I just still have yet to touch. So that just adds more to the long list. Such a first world problem. I have so many games to play.
I don't have no time to play them.
But I'm just gonna play the free one. That's some of the games that I purchased.
What is the? Is there a Steam sale coming up? Spring, or is there?
Those are dangerous.
I never have like gone into those at all. I've
really?
never. I don't think I've ever bought anything from one of their sales.
Really?
So, yeah, it's true.
Wow.
That's how. Again, I'm in the competitive play those one games a lot. I don't play. I play a lot of games. I just play a couple games.
A couple of games that you play a lot.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's yeah. I don't know. There's another single player game that I want to get around to play, which was Nier Automata. Have you heard of that one? Nier,
no.
Nier. Nier, the girl that's like has a blindfold over her face or something.
I have not.
Never heard of that one?
No.
Really? Oh. Heard it's fun. If you like Final Fantasy, I heard it's made by Square Enix, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Watch some gameplay of it.
Review it. Okay.
Like it looks cool. It's a few years old now, but I've always wanted to get around to play it, and like I'm excited to do that more so than like upcoming releases. Like other than Animal Crossing, Valorant, like we mentioned, that's it. That and old games.
All right.
For me. Yeah.
Well, we talked about what the hero pools will be. I guess Thursday we'll see if those changes, the experimental changes. Probably Thursday will be when they go live. Even, I mean, experimental's on live, but live to competitive ladder. We'll see if those go live, and because we really don't know when they're gonna do those. And then what the next hero pool ban is gonna be. It'll be. I wonder what would happen if like mid game the hero bans change.
Ooh, mid game.
If like you're in the middle of a game and like all of a sudden your hero just switches to another one because that one's invalid now. No. I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna implement it. Maybe you'll have to restart the game or something. That would be interesting. I didn't. One more thing I want to talk about. I played a game. Quick story time.
Ooh.
Played a game, and there was a suspected hacker on the enemy team, which I feel like I've been seeing more often now. Which
agreed.
That's one of the changes they said they were going to talk or improve, and we haven't really heard much about that. Anyways, playing game against a hacker, and so our team, at some point you like trust your team because they're the ones that are like you could tell, or someone can tell. There's some tell, so you trust them. You're like, okay, I'll report them. So you report that we reported this one guy, and we're like, oh, maybe he'll get banned in the middle of the game. We're on like the final push. We're about to win. It went to like 3-3 overtime on Junkertown. So now it was like we had pushed, or they had pushed it just a little bit, and we had to push a little bit. Where we have like 1 minute left. We just have a couple more meters to go, and then the person on the enemy team got banned from the game, and the game got canceled. Which that was the first time I've ever had that happen, where somebody got banned in the middle of the game and the game got canceled.
And you were winning.
right. We were about to win.
Oh.
But justice was served and it felt good. So it was.
Right.
It didn't
It's
give
not
me
about
the
DSR.
It didn't give me, because they added that like what? I don't think it's been quite a year, but they added at some point. They added like the game's been canceled due to a hacker. It didn't tell me that. It was just like,
I got that. I remember I posted on Twitter. It was probably close to a year ago. I remember, yeah. But I haven't seen it since.
Right. And so all it did was like, it said that person had left, and it was like, well, wait, why did the game cancel? Well, because it said they left, the game canceled, and then in order to tell, I had to what did I do? I had to add try to invite them to the group, and it's like, that player doesn't exist, and you're like, ha, because they're gone. Yeah, so that was justice was, and then when I logged in the next day, it said, one of your bans has been rewarded, and you're like, that feels good. Right after I clicked on the "You've been avoided by a lot of people" button, because do you ever get that?
Have you gotten that?
Oh, I get that like all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I don't get that. I've never seen it actually.
I don't care. I get it about every other day, maybe something like that.
It comes with the territory. I mean, if you're predominantly play one and it's not meta, I feel like it's just bound to happen. No matter how well you played. I made a video with the recent ball player with Baltex, and he hit like rank 1. He's like a really good EU ball player, but he's like at one point was the most avoided player.
I mean, some people avoid because they're like, haha, they're gonna play that, so I'll just counter them and then
counter it. Yeah, that too, though. The strategic avoid, not so much like I dislike you kind of avoid.
Right.
That's also a thing. I do that. I'm sorry, other Ana players. Sometimes if I see you're an Ana one trick, I'll do it. I'll just avoid you. Nothing personal.
So he's selfish. He wants to play Ana.
Yeah. All right.
Well, let's wrap it up. Get us on out of here, KarQ.
All right. Thank you, everybody, if you're on the live stream right now, thank you for watching and listening to us. And if you're listening, again, you can find the FitzQ podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms, except Apple, which we're going to sort out soon. So you can find us on Google, Anchor, Spotify, and on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to our channel and rewatch it in case you missed parts of it. And yeah. Anyways, thank you for listening and watching. My name is KarQ.
Fitzy here. We'll see you next time.
Later.